On Camera Testimonial, written short summary of this experience. A few years ago, in 2018, I experienced a remarkable visionary contact episode which was initiated through a breakthrough mushroom trip, where I ingested 5 grams of golden teacher psilocybin mushrooms. As the trip began to peak, the common hallucinogenic rainbow pinwheel spirals began to fade away to reveal the silhouette of an insectoid-like figure. This being immediately initiated communication, not in the form of words but in general impressions, feelings, and imagery. The next moment the scene changed abruptly to a perspective of myself standing with this 7-foot-tall bipedal mantis resembling entity beside me, and we are gazing out a large window upon the earth from space. As I looked upon the earth, I could feel it in a very deep, profound way. I had always been an atheist, rationalist, materialist kind of person, but I could not deny that I was able to detect this profound emotional, spiritual connection to the planet as I was staring upon it. I also got this funny feeling that the earth itself was animate somehow. I'm not sure if conscious is the right word, but I felt there was this subtle energy system connecting all life, and I felt tuned into that. I sometimes now call this the Gaian matrix field. The Mantis being communicated in a kind of synesthesia of understanding in a way that's hard to describe or summarize with any great detail. Just being in its presence radiated much of the following information as an intuitive-based self-inference. Just as being in the presence of a human managerial professional, you are able to intuit their role or function or vibe. That being said, here are the general impressions I formed. They are ancient and advanced in a way that's almost incomprehensible. Level Roman 3 galactic civilization. They assume the role of stewards/managers/gardeners of developing higher consciousness displaying organisms throughout the galaxy/universe/multiverse. They have been subtly modifying/coaxing humankind forward from the fringes of our perceived reality and may be responsible for mankind's comparatively rapid cognitive evolution, and that this process has recently been pushed into urgent overdrive. The being insinuated that they are responsible for the seeding and genetic engineering of DMT/psilocybin containing organisms throughout the Earth ecosystem as a potential development driver and means of communication. My personal read on this being is that it was a stoic, enlightened scientist interested in the diversity of expressions of life and consciousness throughout the galaxy. It had a paternal, wise old master/older brother kind of vibe to it. It was very Vulcan-esque, hyper-logical. It was encouraging, understanding, and with a muted sense of humor. It conveyed the sense of deep sadness at the plight of humans and of the ecological state of the earth and encouraged action to help in some way. At the time, I was interested in environmentalism and music, so I actually got an image of John Lennon with the glasses displayed mentally to me as a kind of suggestion of a potential direction of creative output. I also formed the impression after having this experience that this universe is some kind of vast simulated or digitized hyperdimensional reality whose inner mainframe can become accessible through higher states of consciousness, and that these beings have reached a level where they can almost act as programmers, being able to manage, modify, and intrude upon our 3-dimensional bubble in ways that seem impossible. I awoke the next morning to find a praying mantis insect normal-sized was waiting for me outside in an odd and obvious spot, which registered to me as a synchronistic signal from them that this experience was real. To achieve breakthrough dose on mushrooms is quite an undertaking. Even with lemon tech, you get quite sick eating 5+ grams of mushrooms. So I have been tripping less and less over the years, though I did have a similar experience again 2 years later, briefly at the peak of this trip as well, once again blissfully staring at the earth from space, though this time there's several mantid beings present. I had the song Falling Rain by Father John Misty playing in the background. This brief meeting didn't really have much information exchange because it was like a minute tops, but looking at the earth with several of these beings and that song playing just conveyed this feeling of total solemn, transcendent awareness of the declining state of the planet, feeling a sort of melancholy, but also bliss, like there was never anything to worry about. If any experiencer would like to chat with me about their own Mantis Being contact experiences, let me know.